Hey, what is up, guys? This is Card Shuffler 99 here, and today we're going to be revealing for you guys Eric Chien's performance magic trick on America's Got Talent in his audition. We're going to be breaking this trick down for you guys today. Now, first off, keep in mind that a lot of the stuff we're going to be saying in this video is strictly theoretical. We don't actually have a lot of proof as to what we're saying in this video, but we are going to be giving you guys as many ideas as possible as to how he went about doing this trick. Keep in mind, a lot of this is skill-based, so the majority of this you're not actually going to be able to do at home unless you do practice, because a lot of it is just sleight of hand. So we'll talk about a couple of the different tricks that he goes about doing in his performance, and we'll break that down for you guys today. Don't forget to enter into the giveaway. Just like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment something in the comment section below, and make sure you guys have your post notifications turned on. What are we giving away? $100 of Amazon gift cards, so that's going to be $10 Amazon gift cards, and then we're also going to be giving away 5 Theory 11 decks of cards. Any deck of cards of your choice by Theory 11. Once again, don't forget to enter. We'll be ending in about a week, so make sure you guys get your entries in. Anyway, guys, let's go. So, first off, keep in mind that, like I said, a lot of the stuff that's going to be done in this video and a lot of the stuff that Eric actually does in his performance is sleight of hand and is mostly skill. But we are going to talk about a few theories that we do have as we watch the performance. Again, there is no proof. Most of this is just our ideas strictly. So, just keep that in mind. So the first thing we're going to be talking about, I will talk about the color change that he goes about doing. I'll also talk about, basically a lot of it is color changes that he goes about doing. And then obviously the end with the coins, we'll talk about that as well. So for this video, I'll just have this signify the little sort of string or tape that he has running along the middle. This is going to be that for today, okay? So we're just going to use this. So let's go ahead and talk about the first thing that I want to explain, and that would be the first part of the trick where he starts setting cards down and they appear all to be red. So let's go ahead and talk about this. So what we're going to do here is to set this up, you're going to need a few red cards. Let's just go with this number of red cards, and then obviously you're going to have some blue cards. So he's only going to show you red cards, right? So you're going to assume that this entire packet is red, but keep in mind the bottom few are going to be blue. Now, what is he doing as he does this? Well, he's going to be doing deals, and he's also going to be doing a bottom deal. And what do I mean by a bottom deal? So when I say bottom deal, this is a normal deal. A bottom deal is where you slide over the top card, and as you're pretending to put this down, you're actually just grabbing the bottom card. So what happens here is under this motion of sliding over, you're taking this bottom card right here, and you're quickly just turning it over, right? That is a bottom deal. So this is a normal deal. And then a bottom deal, again, would be the same motion, slide over, and you're going to be setting that card down. So it looks like he's setting down this card every single time. So he goes from here. And again, as you do this motion, so he's going to have to do it like this, you do like turn your hand slightly, does a little bit just to cover so you can't exactly see the blue show. And then again, he is setting them all face up. So he does do it very well. Again, it is just a bottom deal, so he is basically just taking this bottom card. Again, you can just turn your hand down sideways a little bit just like that, and you can hide it, and just like that, you set down blue cards versus red cards. So the first part of the trick is primarily going to revolve around him using sleight of hand, and it's going to be a lot of bottom dealing. He's going to do much of the same throughout the beginning of the trick, but once again, it is just bottom dealing. So let's go over that one more time. Once again, you're going to have red cards on the top, and you would only show red cards, right? You would only show and pretend like you have red cards in this pile. You can go ahead, you can show whatever. It doesn't matter because the faces are all the same. Their faces are typically universal for most playing cards, so you can show the faces, you can show the backs as long as you don't spread too far and show the blue. Again, he would deal down one card. He would do basically what we call here a bottom deal. And again, you can hide this motion by as you grab this, you slide this top card back over, so it does look like you're taking it. Again, so it's this, and again, I'm not perfect at the bottom deal, but again, you would just do some sort of motion like that. And again, all he's doing is he's just setting down the bottom cards here versus the top cards here. He does have some left over, and just like that, all blue and all red on the one side, okay? Now, let's go ahead and talk about another part of the trick, and this is going to be these sort of rectangle pieces of tape that he has, that he holds in his hands, and then as he's like throws it down or snaps his fingers, they basically instantly appear in the corners. Now, we do have a couple theories as to how this part is done. If you haven't seen Will Tsai perform, he was on America's Got Talent a couple years ago, and he did have a giant black mat, very similar to what Eric Chien used. It's a little bit different, and there were a couple of theories back then as to how he did it. He did a pretty cool coin routine, and what he did essentially was his mat was part either electronic or part compartmentalized. What do I mean by that? Meaning there are like basically parts of the mat that is electronic, so even though it looks like you're looking at a playing card, you're actually just looking at a screen, right? Now, what I highly encourage you guys to do is go back into the video, go watch Eric Chien perform, and watch it in 0.25 speed. So go to the playback speed and turn it down, and basically you'll notice that before he even, so he has it in his hands, before he even throws it down, they already appeared, right? They already appeared in that corner. So most likely what happens there is those are digital. He goes ahead and touches it, it doesn't move. So it most likely isn't an actual piece of tape, or it isn't an actual sort of rectangle. It's just digital, and you're just looking at what seems like that. Now, again, keep in mind, every magician does something for a reason, and you'll notice he has no spectators up close and personal with him. Typically, that's what most magicians do, especially with a close-up mat, is you would perform close-up magic. He doesn't do that. He makes sure all the judges stay where they are. They can't go up close, but they will be watching through a camera screen, and that's very, very important to understand, is because they can't actually be up and close and personal and see everything that's going on, because they would most likely see subtle details that are going on, whether or not that was electronic or not, okay? So that's another part of the trick. Now let's explain, there was the one color change that he went about doing, so I'll explain this a little bit. What you're going to need for this is you're going to need 2 playing cards, and you'll notice here on the face of one of the playing cards, I have a green piece of paper. Now, this is slightly different in the sense that he used a black mat. If you know anything about magic, there's something known as the black art principle, meaning the black, like if you have a black mat and you have sort of like cards that have just like a black surface, once you put it down, it becomes virtually invisible. Obviously, if you were up close and personal with the mat, you might be able to see it, okay? So obviously this green doesn't blend in, but what I'm saying is because he used a black mat, he was using a lot of the black art principles. A lot of times he was actually just flipping cards over, and the card was actually just black on one side. It wasn't a legitimate card. It was just black on one side, and all he was doing was just flipping it over, and it gives the impression, because you're not actually up close, you're just watching through a camera, that the card just completely disappeared off the screen. That's not what he did. It was just black art principle, meaning as he set it down, it looks like it disappears. So this is one of the color changes that he's going to do. He'll set it up just like so. Let's say we have the 5 of diamonds, correct? We're just going to deal with the 5 of diamonds here. Let's say we set the 5 down. Now, keep in mind these cards would be somewhat stuck. Maybe something like an invisible deck sort of texture to the cards. If you don't know what the invisible deck is, here I have an example. This is an invisible deck. You'll see as I spread out, all the cards sort of stick together. And these are just 2 cards bundled together, okay? But they are stuck together with this sort of rough texture on the back of the cards that holds them together. So most likely it was something like this sort of texture that you could put on the back of the cards that has it stick together. Not completely like tape, but very similar. And what happens is he'll show the 5 diamonds. Obviously it's red on this side. Okay, so you can go ahead, you could show it's red. As he shoves it over, so he lifts this up, he flips it over, all he has to do is he can literally just lift this entire card up and show it, because this is a black surface, right? So this black surface would blend in. So he can show it's now blue, but this here, nobody would see this, because this card here, I know this green and green doesn't match up, right? You can obviously see it. But with the color black, it blends in. And again, that's the black art principle, so he can show it's blue. He sets it back down. They somewhat stick together. He can lift this up. He can push it back over. And you'll notice he's very careful with how he lifts it up. He lifts it up just like so. And this way he can show it's red again. Flips it back over. And you can do this as many times as you want. You can now freely hand this one. And you'll notice that's what he actually does. As he goes to the one side, okay, as it changes color, he freely handles it. That's because this is blending in. But as he goes to the other side, he doesn't freely handle the card. He sort of lifts it up in this sort of rigid way, making sure that the cards stay together, because now he's holding 2 cards, not 1. And that's going to be very, very important with that part of the trick. So that's another color change right there. And finally, you'll notice the last part with all the coins. The the last part really just being the box part of the trick. As he pushes the coins into the box, they're not actually going into the box, he's just pushing it onto the floor. Again, that's another thing when a lot of magicians have a close-up mat and a table, a lot of the action goes on behind the table because a lot of cards are basically just falling on the floor or on their lap. That's basically how a lot of this magic works, is a lot of the cards just get pushed off, whether they're flicking cards back or they're just pushing things off. So in this case, he's actually just pushing coins off the table. They're not going to the box. The coins you see in the box are basically just glued there. That's why when he shakes it, you can't actually hear anything. And the box is compartmentalized, so as he puts that in and he closes the box, that part that's holding that one coin that he puts in at the end just goes into the top of the box, into like the sort of lid, I guess you could say. So as he opens it up, the coin is actually in the lid, and that's why the box appears empty. All right, guys, that is really it for this video. Again, I just taught a couple of the tricks that he went about doing. Most of it, again, is sleight of hand, so I can't really just explain every single one. We can make, separate videos teaching you sleight of hand, but I did teach you guys a couple of the tricks today, so I hope you enjoyed it. And anyway, guys, that is it for today. This is Card Shuffler 99. Peace out, guys.